Hi, everyone. I'm here to present our work on text structures, and specifically the work that was done by Edward de Groot, who was a master's student in structural engineering, who didn't want to do a traditional structural engineering master thesis and found his way over to Ranjith and I doing the computing and construction, and together we were able to kind of put our heads together and think about what we could do on the topic. And also my apologies, I didn't miss I was chairing a different session, so I didn't see the earlier talk, so I hope I don't repeat anything if it was already presented. But I'll try to do justice to the presentation, and also Ranjith's in the room. He's our expert on AI, so if for the more technical matters, he can also answer your question. But just to begin, we began with the idea of what are communicative agents, and there, definitionally, we say that these are entities that can interact with each other and their environment using natural language. Let's see. Oh, is this the old presentation? Oh no, it's there. Okay, and so here you have the example of can you help me with the conceptual design of a parking lot, of a parking structure, as we see here. The idea is, can we see how these agents in the very early stages of the structural design process might be able to work together? That was the question that we were asking. There are a couple of issues there. So first of all, if you're going to use a multi-agent system communicating in natural language, you want to understand how does such a system come to an answer. So we don't really want to use a single LLM. We would want to have a bit more transparency, and that was one of our motivations for using a communicative agent structure. We don't really have a lot of control over how the system comes together. And typically the existing design software requires the user to be an expert, so we were curious if we can kind of create a more user-friendly natural language workflow. And from all of this, we were really interested in just very early level potential of communicative agents in structural engineering as a very explorative early study. Nonetheless, we were very influenced by many studies, but two to point out. One was the text-to-bin done by Du as part of Andrew Borman's group at TU Munich, and the second one was the iDesign LLM interior designer, which was done by Selin, but at Eero Armeni's group at Stanford. And in addition, we were also very motivated by the computer science paper about communicative agents by Park, the Stanford computer science department. And so we really wanted to understand, what are these communicative agents? What tasks might these agents have to do in the context of structural engineering? And how could we develop a multi-agent workflow for early stage structural engineering, and also then to measure the efficiency? We used a design science research methodology, basically just about kind of defining objectives, developing a solution, and then demonstrating it. This was the set of objectives that we set forward with. We wanted to have multi-agents in a multi-agent framework. We wanted to really see how you could then specify and make very sharp specific agents, but the agents need to be able to explain the choices in natural language. We also wanted agents that can read and interpret documentation and understand previous conversations, so they have a bit of memory. Just with very simple human input, it should be a scalable system, and should be very accessible with a standard laptop that you can use it. 5 things that Edward really led on the design and development. The first one is kind of holistically conceptualizing a programming framework, then designing a multi-agent workflow, developing each of the individual structural agents, experimenting with different LLMs to connect to it, and then also giving access to external documentation. And I'll quickly explain each of those steps. This was the overall text-to-structure concept, where you can see you have in the middle a user prompt, which goes from the user to the agent, but then you have agent-to-agent interactions, and then you have external documentation where you can then be able to query and get responses from the agents about the choices that they made, providing back a user with the final answer. Those agents then use an LLM, but we're also using the external documentation with the retrieval-augmented generation. You can meet the team. So here are the agents that we developed between the client, lead engineer, assistant, planner, material agent, a load-bearing agent, dimensioning agent, and a writer agent. And here you can see the workflow. Oops, sorry, I went too fast. So you have a handoff from the client, which is a human, to a planner who gives it to an assistant, which was a very strange quirk about why we needed to do that, to a lead engineer who then kind of guides the process through different steps, sequences, and ultimately giving a response back to the client. There are many ways to design this team. This was the one that we found to be effective. That's probably a whole nother conversation. We developed each of the individual agents. So, for example, you have the client, but they don't need a system message. They don't need any prompting. But the lead engineer, for example, we give a message. So you're the lead engineer responsible for, it's quite slow, for overseeing the design process and giving a little bit of prompting and questions. We have the same for each of the different agents. So, for example, the material agent, it's a structural engineer specialized in construction material specifications. So here we want to ask the material agent for this parking structure that we're going to demonstrate, do you need steel, do you need concrete, what type of materials are useful? And there we instructed to look at a specific chapter in the structural engineering conceptual design book. I'll share more about that in a moment. Yeah, we have a number of different agents, dimensioning agents, etc. For example, we also needed a writer because we needed someone that could kind of summarize and put it all together to make the writing prompt, yeah, as you see, into a well-formatted document for the client. Yeah, so we tried this then with 3 different open LLMs, Llama, Gemma, and Mistral. Because we wanted to see if there was differences in how the different LLMs worked. And we also then made sure that there was a connection with the iStruct, and I'm not a structural engineer, the iStruct Conceptual Design of Buildings book, which was what Edward used in his structural engineering courses to kind of guide him on the early stage of conceptual design for structural engineering. So that was stored and pre-processed as a vector database, which was retrieved using RAG from the lead engineer. This is what it looks kind of fully built out. We used AutoGen as the multi-agent framework. The iStruct ebook there you see as the external documentation, which is then retrieved with the RAG. Then we have the LLM, which creates the conversible, goes towards the conversible agents who are able to then follow this kind of workflow that I showed earlier in the bottom right. And then at the end, we would like a summary in the end of the project description, the construction material, structural system, stability system, sorry, preliminary dimensioning, and the conclusion. So just to show you one run, we did several different runs. I'll give you a summary at the end. But just to give you a sense of one run here, you can see that you have the planner agent. Yeah, I didn't realize it was quite slow text. So, you know, here we give him the task. We say, can you design the structural conceptual design of a simple car park? And we give the following dimensions. So we should have 2 stories. It should be 20 by 40 meters, no adjacent buildings for 50-year design life cycle, and don't consider any other factors in the design. We can hand this off to the material agent, and this is just one run, so they would recommend using steel as a primary construction material, looking at the high strength to weight ratio and understanding the clear span construction. The load-bearing agent then is able to think about using composite floors and a steel deck with reinforced concrete topping. The dimensioning agent, here we had a lot of problems with the dimensioning agent. It seemed to be that was the one that we needed the most improvements on. But in this case, they looked at potential grid dimensions and also kind of thinking about hollow core precast floor units and the kind of module size, etc. But we also saw similar problems with other problems with the dimensioning agent. For example, here we're talking about reinforced concrete beams, but then they're saying that these beam types are suitable for steel construction. So we have, of course, also hallucination and trouble that needs further investigation. So what we documented in the end was 3 different runs with each of the 3 LLMs. This is a kind of a summary here. You can see that there were also different choices that emerged. So it was different choices by the runs, whether it was a hybrid system. But it seemed that there was interest more in a steel system, although there was a few times that concrete or precast concrete was chosen. The Gemma was the least, I would say, effective. You had a lot of kind of blanks when you looked at, was it able to make specific recommendations? So we also saw a difference in the quality of the LLMs. And then it was quite interesting that we got specific grid dimensions. Again, this is only meant to be for conceptual design. It's meant to kind of get started. It's not supposed to be the final load-bearing dimensions. But as a first point, we thought it was quite interesting. So to conclude, we did identify a set of tasks for conceptual design. We thought that material choice, the structural system, and the preliminary dimensioning are really kind of the key agents that we thought it was worthwhile to develop. We created the multi-agent workflow using AutoGen and RAG. And then we evaluated the effectiveness. We said that the agents were able to provide detailed and reasoned structural recommendations. We also think that users can control the documents given the agents. We only used one document, but you could also think about different ways to for the basis of the RAG. And it's quite easy to use. So you just input I need a car park, and you see what comes out. Of course, I will say you also be extremely careful with these kind of structural engineering assumptions. But we were very just curious if the workflow was possible. So our conclusions, there is promise. They can assist on the first steps. Dimensioning was definitely clearly the weakness, and there was a reasonable input for the following steps. So with all that, thank you for your attention. So.